The industrial engineers at Eversolo keep developing new equipment at an astonishing rate. This time it's a DAC based on the Asahi Kasei AK4191 and the AK4499 chipset. It's a fully balanced setup, including an analog preamp with ladder resistor volume control. Before we dive into the Z10, as I will call the Eversolo DAC Z10 from here on, first a reaction to comments I got from a number of viewers. They don't like the Where to Use chapter, and I understand that. But if you browse through the comments, there are also many who do like this chapter. For a long-time audiophile, it's immediately clear how a device should be used. But for the majority, who often change the stereo only once every 10 or 20 years, it's not so clear. They especially appreciate this chapter. So it will stay. Since the chapters are indexed, you can easily skip to the next chapter. Just tap or click on the progress bar in the lower part of the screen. Right now, the first chapter is the Where to Use chapter. Spool to the Outside chapter to skip it. The Z10 has to be connected to an amplifier using either two XLR or RCA interconnect cables. The amplifier then needs to be connected to a pair of loudspeakers. Next, you need a digital source. Nowadays, that will almost likely be a network transport, also known as a streamer. This needs to be connected to the Z10 via a digital connection. The Z10 offers many inputs. I chose I2S over an HDMI cable, but SPDIF, Toslink, AES-EBU or USB are also possible. The streamer needs to be connected to your home network using a network cable or Wi-Fi to your router or switch. This allows the streamer to access the internet radio stations and streaming services. If you have music stored on your computer or NAS, that can be played too. With the supplied remote control, you can control the Z10. Alternatively, you can use the touchscreen or the free Eversolo app on your smartphone or tablet. Since the Z10 has many digital inputs, you can connect other digital sources such as a CD, DVD or Blu-ray player, a game console and your TV. An HDMI ASC connection lets the Z10 automatically switch to the correct input. You can also control the Z10's volume and automatically switch it on using the TV remote when watching. This is particularly handy if you use a power amplifier instead of an integrated amplifier and use the Z10 as a preamp, or if you use active speakers with built-in amplifiers. The Z10 also has analog inputs, so you can connect an analog source like an FM tuner directly. A turntable can be connected as well, but then you need either a turntable with built-in RAAA correction amplifier or an external one. The analog preamplifier is fully balanced and uses an R2R, thus analog volume control. The full metal enclosure measures 365 by 310 by 78 mm and weighs 6.6 kilograms. On the front, we see a large volume control that also doubles as a standby control when pressed. A large part of the front is covered by an 8.8-inch full-color touchscreen that displays the user interface. On the left we see a 6.3 mm headphone jack. On the back we see the power switch, the fuse holder and the IEC mains inlet. Then there is a grounding post and a trigger output that can be used to switch on a power amplifier with a trigger input when the Z10 is switched on. There also is a trigger input that for instance allows a network player to switch on the DAC. Next we find the right channel unbalanced analog output with the balanced output below it. Then the unbalanced analog input for the right channel with the balanced version below. After that come the digital inputs, starting with the AES-3 standards: coaxial 1, optical 1, coaxial 2, optical 2 and AES EBU. Then there is the I2S HDMI connector used for connection to a network player that has an I2S over HDMI output. It can be set to 8 pinout configurations. Mode 1 is the most commonly used PS audio pinout. Below it, another HDMI input for connecting the audio from your TV to the Z10 via ARC or eARC HDMI. The USB-B input lets you connect your digital source over USB audio class 2. For those who want to use an external clock, there are both 75 ohm and 50 ohm inputs. A USB-A connector is used for updates via a memory stick only. Finally, we find the unbalanced and balanced analog inputs for the left channel, as well as the unbalanced and balanced analog outputs for the left channel. When we remove the top, we see a very structured and symmetrical layout. On the right side is a duct that brings the mains power to the front, where we find 3 toroidal transformers and rectifiers, one for each audio channel and one for the digital electronics in the center. There are 2 power sections that provide separate power to the sections on the audio boards. The digital to analog conversion using the Asahi Kasei AK4191 and AK4499 chipsets, the buffer stage, and the R2R volume control that switches resistors in and out of the audio path. Between these boards we find the Eversolo branded oven-controlled clock oscillator and the microprocessors. Here we also find the FPGA programmed to optimize the digital signals. The connection for the external clocking is found here. At the front left we see the headphones amplifier. It has a self-sensing feature that measures the impedance to set the correct gain. The AES3 based inputs, AES EBU, coaxial and optical, accept up to 192 kHz 24-bit PCM and DSD64 over DOP. The I2S HDMI input and the USB-B input support up to 768 kHz 32 bits and DSD512. The HDMI ARC input accepts PCM up to 192 kHz 24 bits. The balanced outputs are 5 volts RMS at 0 dBFS and the unbalanced outputs 2.5 volts RMS. The headphone output accepts impedances from 32 ohm to 300 ohm and delivers 4 volts RMS to 7 volts RMS at 0 dBFS, depending on the gain setting. Apart from the volume control, there are no physical buttons. Everything is done via the on-screen graphical user interface, the remote control, or the Eversolo app. I will show you the possibilities for the Z10 using the app on an iPad Pro. The graphics are more basic than we are used to from Eversolo. This probably has to do with the absence of a network connection since it's a DAC. The opening screen lets you change volume, select inputs and select outputs. The settings menu is divided into 6 groups, accessible from a single screen. Input and output offer the same selections as the opening screen. Audio lets you set the master clock to 10 MHz internal, external 50 ohm at 10 or 25 MHz or 75 ohm at 10 to 25 MHz. I2S mute lets you set it to high or low, matching the source. I2S mode allows you to change the pinout to match your source. With 8 choices, there's little chance of a mismatch. Mode 1 is PS audio compatible, which has become the default standard. ASC mode lets you choose between the early audio return channel standard and the newer enhanced audio return channel. Just check your TV or its manual to see which is used for the HDMI R connector. Then there is a headset gain. Although the Z10 measures the impedance of the headset and adjusts the gain automatically, you can change these settings here. Next are the reconstruction filters. There are 6 of them. My favorite one is the minimum phase slow roll-off, but that's partly personal preference, so don't shy away from trying the other ones. There are many other settings as well, such as volume and balance, meter type and other screen-related options. The Z10 was connected to the Air Acoustics AX520 amplifier using Grim Audio SQM cables. The amplifier drives the PMC FAC12 signature loudspeakers on Stack Audio OVA 17 isolators connected over AudioQuest Robinhood Zero loudspeaker cables. The digital source was the Magnimano Ultra MK3.5 Farad streamer running Gen 2 player. It was connected via I2S using a 1 meter AudioQuest Pearl HDMI cable. The Mano was used as a Roon endpoint and connected through a Network Acoustics Eno 2 system Ethernet filter to the Zixel GS1900-10HP switch. Also connected to the Zixel switch was the Zixel T56 modem/router, which was connected to a 1 gigabit Odido glass fiber internet connection via a Nokia media converter. The small green computer Sonic Transporter i7 CDR was connected to the Zixel switch via a patch cable and was running Roon server. To control Roon, I used an iPad Pro 2 running the Roon Remote app. A PSI Audio AVAA active bass trap was used to counteract Roon modes. The Z10 offers good resolution for the mids and highs and even higher resolution in the lows. Sibilance was very well controlled, which suggests that the FPGA programmed for clock reconstruction does its work very well. This might also explain why the AKM chipset sounds so velvety yet open. The stereo image is wide and deep with instruments well in focus. This is a very good sounding DAC that I rate as lower range setup 1A. The sound quality is top notch, given the price, which is just below €2,000. But you get more than just great sound. The Z10 supports popular streaming protocols, high sampling rates on I2S and USB inputs, a discrete analog volume control using a ladder network, a triple linear power supply, a very nice touchscreen display showing Eversolo's refined user interface, 8 digital and 2 analog inputs, including an HDMI ARC input for your TV, and the analog inputs that allow you to connect a turntable using an RIAA preamp. And of course, the signal path from analog inputs to analog outputs remain fully analog. If your goal is to convert a digital audio signal to analog, this may be more than you need. But if you see the Z10 as central hub of your audio and video system, I can't think of better options in this price range. And on that bombshell, we come to the end of this video. A new one is coming soon, so don't forget to subscribe or follow me on Patreon, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram or TikTok. Patreon and YouTube Premium members get early access and no ads. A huge thank you to everyone who supports the channel financially. It's great to see the increasing number of small donations. Please don't be shy. I appreciate every single euro, pound, dollar or equivalent you donate. You keep me independent and motivated. It's easy to contribute using the QR code on screen or the links in the description. I'm Hans Beekhuizen. Thank you for watching, and whatever you do, enjoy the music.